With a momentary pause to survey the battlefield, I saw Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, and Barry exchanging blows with the machines, holding their own but slowly being pushed back. Meanwhile, Cyborg was analyzing the robot's weak points, attempting to find a vulnerability we could exploit. But it wasn't enough. Despite our combined efforts, the machine seemed relentless and impervious to our attacks. That's when it hit me. Our only hope now was to rescue Superman, the one hero whose strength and abilities could turn the tide of this battle. I left the chaotic fight behind, my mind focused solely on finding Superman. I searched room after room, my frustration growing with each empty space. I knew that every second I spent searching was another moment my fellow Justice League members were struggling. For a moment, I felt helpless, unsure of what to do next. But then, as I walked down the hallway, something caught my attention. Call it intuition or just a gut feeling, but I had a strange urge to check out the janitorial room. I made my way towards the door, my senses on high alert, ready for anything. To my surprise, the door opened smoothly without any resistance. As I entered the room, I saw another door emitting an eerie green glow. I knew this had to be where Superman was being kept, but just as I moved to inspect the door, I sensed Lex Luthor's presence behind me. Before he even spoke, I turned around and there he was, donning his advanced mech suit.
"You're not going to stop me, Batman,"
he said with a cold smirk.
"Superman is out of your reach. He's locked up tight behind that door, and I have the key."
"Is that so?" I asked, already analyzing the situation in my head. "Then why are you wasting your time with me?"
"Because you're in my way,"
Lex said, taking a step towards me. I tensed up, ready to fight, but Lex suddenly lunged forward with lightning speed, catching me off guard. I barely had time to dodge his attack, and we engaged in a brutal hand-to-hand combat inside the confined space. Lex's mech suit gave him a considerable advantage, but I refused to give up. I fought back with everything I had, using my limited environment to outmaneuver him.
"You can't win this, Batman,"
Lex taunted as he landed a powerful punch that sent me flying across the room. I groaned as I picked myself up off the floor, but I refused to let him get the best of me. I had to find a way to neutralize the kryptonite that was keeping Superman. "You know, Luthor," I said, feigning exhaustion as I circled around him, "I've always wondered why you're so obsessed with destroying Superman. Is it really just because he's an alien?" Lex snarled at me.
"Superman is a threat to humanity. He thinks he's above us, but he's just as vulnerable as the rest of us."
"You're just jealous because he's a hero, and you're a villain," I retorted, taunting him. "You'll never be anything more than a petty criminal." That seemed to hit a nerve. He launched a fierce attack at me, one I narrowly managed to evade, feeling the wind from his punch brush against my cheek. But as his attack landed, it hit the locked door behind me with a thunderous force, breaking the reinforced lock and sending the door flying off its hinges. Without a moment's hesitation, I made my way into the room. Superman was lying there, weakened and vulnerable, with those damn kryptonite panels emitting their toxic green glow. And then, as if on cue, Lex appeared, continuing his assault. But something was different this time. Lex wasn't toying with me anymore. He was slightly more tense, slightly more worried. I knew I couldn't remove the panels without getting my head knocked off. But I had a backup plan, something that would catch him off guard. I had already made my move and called the Batmobile as soon as I entered the room, beaten and bruised. All I could do now was rely on the plan I had set in motion. I braced myself as Lex advanced towards me, taunting me with his words. "No more games, Batman. Time to end this." I knew he was right. It was time to end this once and for all. As he was about to land the final blow, the Batmobile came crashing through the walls, knocking Lex to the ground. I could see the look of surprise on his face as he scrambled to regain his footing. With the clock ticking, I quickly fastened Superman to the Batmobile and initiated the autopilot mode, ensuring his safe escape from the room. As the Batmobile raced away, I turned back to face Lex Luthor. He was down, but not out. I knew he would come after me again, and I had to be ready.